Live from Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, this is Firecrackers, where we take time to reflect on issues of national interest. We also engage in smart and global conversations. Coming up on the program, the Apex Igbo Social-Cultural Group, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, appealed to President Muhammadu Buhari to release Igbo youth detained by various security agencies across the country. Plus tonight, we pay attention to one of the most prevalent human rights violations in the world, and that is violence against women and girls. That's our focus on the program this week. We definitely have a lot to tackle, but it's Sunday, September 12th, a day after 9/11, 2021, and wherever you're watching from around the world, I am Kelly Egiga, and Firecracker starts right now. You're welcome back. This is Firecrackers, and wherever you're watching from around the world, we're live from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. Let's get into the conversation proper. Sometimes I say ladies first, so let's begin with the ladies in the house as we get some perspective on some issues as regards violence, gender-based violence and other related issues. I'm joined tonight on the program by Dr. Martina Njoku, live from Port Harcourt in Rivers State, President Darren Estes. Here in Lagos, the Lekki area of Lagos, Dr. Joy Osazua, business consultant, also joins us live on the program as we discuss some of these very present issues. Good evening, ladies, for agreeing to thank you for agreeing to speak with us. Maybe we should perhaps begin in Port Harcourt, where Dr. Njoku is standing by. Dr. Okpara Njoku. Yes, so this issue of gender-based violence, we have gone through it over and over and over again. I wonder just how bad or just how much progress has been made so far in this part of the world, for starters.
Gender-based violence. We didn't start today. Is violence meted out to anyone based on his gender. So it can be meted out to a man or a woman, but most especially women and girls are, fall victim because of I would say gender inequality. So it's been on, and every day is growing, on the increase, mostly on women and on girls.
One would have thought that with the level of enlightenment and all of that, awareness programs and all, we should have made some level of progress.
Well, just as evil is on the increase, despite technology, despite civilization, people on a daily basis are losing value and getting excited, in crimes and other things. So that is just to tell you, the more civilized we become, the less value people, attach to things, the less they embrace norms, they lose themselves and delight in kind of have a fantasy on evil, a fantasy dominated by the evils that has taken over the entire world. So it's on the increase on a daily basis instead of declining.
All right. Let's also hear the opening thoughts of Dr. Joy here in Lagos. Dr. Joy, I wonder if you agree with Dr. Okpara about the increase in violence against women, against girls. I also understand it's one of the highest forms of human rights violations, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but all around the world.
Yes. I want to agree with Dr. Martina Njoku that gender violence, especially women, is growing daily. And in this part of the world, we have even greater problems. You see, outside Africa, women take precedence. The needs of women are put up from there. After children, you have women. So government is concerned about what's happening to women out there. But in Africa, we don't have this kind of protection for women. So it happens to women every day. They are beaten, they are bastardized, sexually abused, they are neglected, they are abandoned, and nothing is being done about it. And you know, the women don't speak up because they know that if they speak up, especially in this part of the country, especially in this part of Africa, nobody will be listening, you know, and people will heap the blame on them. So they just bear it in silence. So that's what's happening right now.
All right. So, well, having established this background of these particular issues, when you also take a look at the part of government's policies or programs by the government, I wonder if you think that such programs and policies have helped in any way to curb some of these violences experienced. I remember during the pandemic, I understand that around the world, you know, women suffered a lot of violence in that period, in just 1 year alone. So I wonder if policies by government in the country, particularly here in Nigeria, has been helpful to help curb the spread of this violence.
Well, if you look at research, the research shows that we have policies in place because Nigeria is part of the world. We are part of these organizations that have been put in place to help to curb violence, especially with women. However, it's not working in Nigeria because I think we don't have a police in place to ensure that this particular gender violence is taken care of. So yes, we are part of the global group that handles it, UNICEF, all other governmental bodies that can help. But you see, it's not being followed up. We have no body put in place to ensure that these policies are being followed. So we just have the policies, and it's not working for us in Nigeria. Yes, nobody's following up.
Okay. So, Dr. Njoku, I believe that you're still with us. So let's also get your thoughts and reactions to this. The role of policies and programs by the government. Has this helped in any way reduce the spread of this violence in the country? Now, according to statistics, an estimated 1 in 3 women will experience physical or sexual abuse in her lifetime. 1 in 3 women. That is very, very daring.
Yes, I would say that is quite true. The government is trying. I know FIDA as a body has also tried, and some laws have been put in place, like physical abuse on any woman attracts jail term or whatever, which was not there before. But we are trying. The government is also trying. It's just for the women also to speak up when they are abused, so that the full wrath of the law can can have its way. And most especially, I would like us to look at, when we say gender violence, we narrow it down to physical violence, but I want us to look at abuse, violence, abuse, emotional abuse that a lot of women go through on a daily basis, unnoticed. mostly from those that are married to husbands that are narcissists. You know, narcissism is a personality disorder, and when a woman is married to a narcissist, she is abused on a daily basis. In fact, narcissists attract, strong women, powerful women. They are, they are attracted to them because they see them as as a target to break them. Women that are married to these people, they may not physically abuse them, but verbal abuse. Verbal abuse on a daily basis, that the women eventually lose their self-esteem. They lose their confidence. They are bullied. And such abuse, where do you classify it? The women die in silence. They are battered every day, every minute, because they are married to this person who has a disorder, a behavioral disorder, but may know or may not know it, and they die in silence. It's there every day. And you see, the men, it must be the way they want things to be done. It must be their way, and the women must worship them. The women in their lives, their partners they batter her, they tell her how ugly she is, how incompetent she is, how she should be grateful, he married, is married to her, and she's a no good. Women go through this abuse every day. Women that are married to narcissists.
Yes. So let me ask this question.
Before you know it, these women lose their confidence.
Yes, so let me ask this question.
Verbal abuse is even worse than physical abuse.
Dr. Njoku,
so
just a moment. Just a moment. So women, I'm sure, do not just experience this kind of treatments just in marriages. I guess even at the places of work as well, there's also experience this kind of treatment. That's on the one hand. Then maybe we should even simplify what exactly that the concept or the disorder is, the narcissism. What exactly is it, and maybe how can one identify such traits and symptoms? But we will come back and check in with you very briefly after this timeout. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Firecrackers. Dr. Martina Njoku is here with us on the program, live from Port Harcourt, the River State capital, as well as Dr. Joy Osazua, live from the Lekki area here in Lagos. Both ladies are shedding light on this issue of gender-based violence and all sorts of violence. So I now understand that we don't just have the physical and sexual violence. We do have the verbal violence. We do have the emotional violence, or abuse rather. So Dr. Njoku, just before the break, I was asking you about maybe you could help simplify what exactly the concept of this disorder is, the symptoms, and how it can be easily identified. I was also asking, is this something we can also see at the workplace as well? Just before I came on set, my colleagues and I were discussing that a moment ago about having this kind of features and characteristics of people even at the workplace. So is it just a male-female thing, or can males even experience same with males? Can females experience such with females as well? Not just at home, but at the workplace as well?
A personality disorder. It's a personality, a behavioral disorder. A man can have it, a woman can have it, but it's mostly found in men. And you see it more when they are in a relationship. It's a mental condition in which people have an inflated sense of their own importance. self-admiration, excessive need for attention. And one of the main characteristics is that they lack empathy for others. It's all about themselves. They intimidate, bully, and belittle others, anyone around them, especially their partners. A narcissistic person lives in his own world. He's always the best. So mostly women, you see, they lose their self-identity. The narcissistic husband abuses them to an extent that they forget who they are. He attacks on their confidence. You see, if a pretty woman is married to a narcissist, every day what she will hear is, you are ugly. You think you are beautiful. You want nothing. You are this, you are that. And continuously that woman hears only negative words. No praises, no acknowledgement. And before you know it, it affects her health, her mental health, confidence in herself. Even it will affect her in the office. And if she works in an office and maybe under a boss that is also a narcissist, she's a no good. Constantly, her confidence is attacked. And before you know it, that woman wants nothing. She will barely recognize herself, who she is anymore. And when that happens, it affects everything around her. Even in her home, in raising her children, it affects them. You see, children that are raised by mothers that have been bullied and
yes. So, Dr.
subdued under
yes. Yes. So the network, Dr. Okpara, doesn't seem too friendly where you are. I'm not sure you can hear me, but I hate to break your flow of thoughts and conversations, but the network doesn't seem too friendly where you are. It does appear your bandwidth are also low. I hope that can quickly be fixed as we move on with the conversations. But stay with us. Let's check in with Dr. Joy Sazua here in Lagos. Dr. Joy, I wonder if you agree with Dr. Okpara if this disorder is something that has to do mostly with males, for starters. And I wonder the background of such assertion or position, because I'm a man, I need to speak for the males. We need to understand whether is it research, is it so we first of all know if we have to check ourselves again as males. I don't know if we have Dr. Joy still with us. Dr. Joy, can you respond to that question very, very quickly? All right, it does appear that we do not have Dr. Joy with us, so hopefully she gets to reconnect with us as we continue the conversation. Dr. Joku, let's continue with you as we continue with this discussion of narcissism and all of that. So I wonder, since you say mostly males, what could be attributed to the causes? What could be held responsible for such a trait or behavioral trait or pattern, if I may ask?
Well, it's like I said, it's a mental disorder that needs medical help. But most times the people involved don't know that this is a disorder. They don't know, and even their victims don't know it's a disorder. So either they attack, they try to attack the narcissist, or they succumb to his own rules and bury their own self inside the dictates, inside the person of this, of the the disorder person. So it's a mental disorder that requires therapy, going to a psychologist, for therapy. But most times these people live in denial of the fact that there's a disorder. So is their victims, their partners, that need to be aware, and then she has to put a barricade to help them and to help herself. Otherwise, she continually, live in this abusive environment. In fact, a lot of mothers have lived in it, grow, and in fact, accepted it as a way of life, even aged with it. You see, some have dreams, they lost their voice, they are never heard, their own opinions never count. They are, most times you see some are, that have future, they are powerful, but when they are married to a narcissist, he first attacks either their job, their career, and bullies them into either giving it up or make them become incompetent. So these are abuse. A lot of women go through it every day, but they just say, that's the man's character. But they don't know it's a disorder. So when we understand that narcissism is a behavioral disorder, then we can help ourselves, because that's abuse that goes on a daily basis. And it's only when you meet women that are married to them, they share their experience, you will know that they are in hell worse than rape or physical, molestation. It's a terrible state.
Yes, indeed, very terrible. So let's take a breather. When we come back, you may need to share with us some of those experiences that some women have probably shared with you, and I hope some men have also shared such experiences with you as well. Then we also have the question about the issue of our culture and tradition, our cultural heritage. Is it also partly responsible for this kind of behavioral trait or pattern? We'll get your perspective in just a moment. Please stay with us. You're watching Firecrackers. Let's take a breather. Hopefully we do have Dr. Joy Osazua back as well, so we can continue the conversation. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. This is Firecrackers. We're winding down on the conversation tonight, and Dr. Martina Njoku-Okpara is with us on the program, President Darren Esters, as well as Dr. Joy Osazua, live from the Lekki area here in Lagos, business consultant. Ladies, we have to conclude on our conversation right now. So, Dr. Joy, because we lost connection with you for a moment, let's bring you on board and get your perspective on some issues. This issue we're discussing, the issue of abuse, whether sexual, whether physical, whether emotional, whether verbal, I wonder what role our culture plays in all of this. We know we're a cultural people, our cultural heritage and all of that. So I wonder how what role our culture plays in this, and then of course even our religion as well. I wonder what role our religion also plays, in some of these issues as we are discussing. Dr. Joy, if you're with us, I'd like you to respond to this question, please. All right. While we wait for Dr. Joy to join us again, she was on just a moment ago. The network playing some tricks with us. Dr. Okpara Njoku, let's go ahead with you. Let's hear your take first of all. What role is culture and religion and ethnicity playing in all of this violence, whether physical, whether verbal, whether emotional, whether what role?
All right. Our culture tells us that the man is the head. Yes, we agree. He's the head. So most cultures say the woman must not talk, and when you complain of violence, of abuse, they tell you to endure. That's the way of marriage, and then the girl child is brought up from the beginning to take all the anything meted out to her from the opposite sex or from the husband. She's brought up from from infancy to know, oh, you are being trained to go get married, and your husband is everything. Yes, he is, but when the man in question is a narcissist, and the lady goes back to to her parents to say, this is what I'm going through, they tell her to endure, or no, or you're not respectful, or do it his own way, the way he wants it, and all that. So culture contributes, and and fuel this whole behavior disorder, because they hide under it that they don't understand it's a disorder. Even their victims don't know that's a disorder. They are dealing with a mental disorder. So they suffer in silence. They complain and nobody really comes to their aid or understand that they are dealing with a disorder, a mental illness. So, in fact, their victims, not just them, even when they have children, it's matter that goes on to the children, because he becomes a lord in the home. People don't laugh around him. If they are happy and they hear his son or he's coming, they all run to their rooms. They don't laugh. They are not free in their homes.
So let me also ask you this question: has this got anything whatsoever to do with being a feminist or feminism?
Well, it has, like I told you in the beginning, it's a behavior disorder. A man can have it, a woman can have it, but it's more seen more in men. So it's not really a gender. It's not really a gender based.
Yes, Dr. Njoku. Just a moment, Dr. Njoku. Yes, Dr. Njoku, I was actually directing the question directly to you, because for our viewers, some may be thinking you are probably a feminist, and that's why this could probably be your position. So maybe I should ask you directly: are you a feminist? Do you believe in feminism?
A woman, and I'm a woman to the core. I am a woman to the core, and I like equality. What I like everybody, whether man, if a woman mets out that kind of, if a man is married to a narcissist, I will not support it because I'm a feminist. No, I just want equality. People should not take undue advantage of the order. So people should be free in their homes, in their relationship. And a woman should not be subjected. In fact, this is not a topic that can finish in one day, because if you happen, we run a Jerry Nesta's Foundation. It's a place for young women. It's a forum for women. They on board. They
I think we just spotted Dr. Joy back with us.
So
we just spotted Dr. Joy back with us.
It's one that please.
All right, so we just spotted Dr. Joy back with us. I hope she's actually back this time around. Dr. Joy, you have been missing on the conversation for quite some time now. We are rounding off right now. Dr. Joy, I wonder what your thoughts are, the role religion and our culture, tradition plays in this this issue, this disorder. I wonder what you think, Dr. Joy. I'm not sure we have you back, but if you can hear me, the question is, what role does our culture and religion or ethnicity plays in all of this, in this kind of behavioral pattern or trait or disorder? Okay, so I'm not sure she's back with us. We have to round up our conversation now. Dr. Martina Njoku, maybe in 60 seconds or less, what's your final advice to people who have these disorders? In 60 seconds or less. Thank you.
Well, those that have these disorders, I'll advise that they seek medical help. They seek help, a psychologist, go through a therapy. And for their victims, they should understand that this is a disorder and not expect much from them. You know, maybe they wrong you and you're expecting them to tell you they are sorry. No, you're not going to get that. And you think they did it to you, they hurt you now, and they will hurt you again. They will hurt you again and again because they have no empathy. They have no feeling. They are wired that way. So for you to overcome that, you have to begin to take some decisions so that you don't lose your self-esteem, because that's what they attack most. So you have to set boundaries. You don't lose your self-esteem. You do not let him define you. And then do not let yourself to be manipulated. And then be true to yourself. Be happy.
Okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Martina. Dr. Martina Njoku, line from Port Harcourt.
You are dealing with a disorder.
Dr. Joy, Dr. Martina, rather, we need to let you go. We'd like to thank you most kindly, President Darren Esters. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation and show tonight, live from Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital.
Thank you so much.
All right. So there you go. We have to run away now. So that's the size of our package tonight. Unfortunately, Chief Solomon Ogbonna, president of Ohaneze Indigbo here in Lagos, could not make it to the studios. We had promised to have some conversations surrounding Mr. President's visit to Imo State and the Southeast region very recently, and the fact that the group, the Igbo Cultural Group, has demanded the release of Igbo youth detained by various security agencies across the country. But he's not here to get his views and perspective, but that's a good place to anchor our conversation. Hopefully we can get him on board subsequently. I am Kelly Egiga. Good evening.